Hi, I'm Melissa Ushakov from the Access team, and this is my kickoff video for 13.6. So we have some really exciting changes coming in the theme of competitive advantage. So we've been doing research on SAML group sync, and I'm super excited to announce that we're going to be working on our MVC. So there's a couple of caveats for how it's going to work because it is an MVC. So one is that it will need to be configured at each group. So it's going to be similar to how LDAP links work, where at each group you basically will have a way to map an attribute from your SAML assertion to that group. So you say you find this specific group, um, basically add this user to it. And if a user matches multiple links, we'll add them with the highest role. So this is this issue. And then basically the other caveat is that we'll add or remove groups on each login because it is based on the SAML assertion. So the user will need to log out and log back in to see changes in groups. We are going to be working on future changes to basically do more checking and polling of the session. So that way you won't have to log in, log out and log back in to see the changes reflected. But we'll have an MVC, so I'm super excited about that. And also, one important note is that because we're doing this at the group level, this implementation will actually work for both self-managed and cloud, even though we have different SAML implementations for it. So that was a really great thing that engineering was able to figure out. On the theme of usability and user experience, as you know, in 13.5, we released the ability for basically allowing open registration, but having it so that when a user registers, an admin has to approve the registration. But again, in the spirit of iteration, we did not include any email notifications with this first pass of the feature. So basically that would require an admin going and checking the users list on some sort of intervals and finding the people that were pending and approving them. And instead, we're now going to have an email that goes out to the admins telling them that someone has requested to log in, access to their instance, and basically having a quick link that guides them to the right page in GitLab to approve them. And we're also going to have an email notification to the people that requested access to the instance to basically tell them that they've been approved. So that way they don't also need to try to log in and see if they've been approved yet. So it's a nice user experience addition. And then lastly, on that front, we're going to make this the default for new instances. So any new instance that gets created, by default, they'll have open registration, but with this admin approval step required. This is going to be the default, right? There's going to be a configuration toggle so they can change it if they want it to be just open or if they don't want open registration. And then lastly, one thing that we found, we did the capability maturity scoring for subgroups. And we found that users are having a really hard time finding how to create a subgroup because the button that we have on the groups page looks like this, where it's a drop-down button. You actually have to click the drop-down to find new subgroup and then click the button. So it takes a couple of clicks to find it. So instead, like you see here, we're just going to have two buttons to make this functionality more discoverable. So that's it for Access for 13.6. If you have any questions, just post them on the planning issue. Thanks.